Tatiana Celia Kennedy Schlossberg was born into one of America's most storied families, yet she chose a life defined not by political ambition or inherited power, but by intellectual rigor, moral responsibility, and environmental advocacy. Born on May 5, 1990, at Weill Cornell Medical Center in New York City, Schlossberg grew up at the intersection of history, public service, and creativity. She was the daughter of Edwin Schlossberg, a respected designer and artist, and Caroline Kennedy, an author, diplomat, and the only surviving child of President John F. Kennedy and First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. From the beginning, Tatiana's life unfolded against a backdrop of national memory and global awareness, but she quietly carved a path that was entirely her own. Raised primarily on Manhattan's Upper East Side, Schlossberg shared her childhood with her siblings, Rose and Jack, in a household where books, history, and civic responsibility were ever present. Summers and holidays were often spent on Martha's Vineyard, particularly at the estate of her grandmother Jacqueline, where Tatiana absorbed a deep appreciation for nature, privacy, and reflection. These experiences helped shape her sensitivity to place and environment, themes that would later define her professional work. Her family heritage was culturally rich and diverse. Her father came from an Orthodox Jewish family of Ashkenazi descent, while her mother was Catholic with Irish, French, Scottish, and English roots. Although Tatiana was raised Catholic, her upbringing embraced religious pluralism, with Jewish traditions such as Hanukkah incorporated into family life. This blending of traditions fostered an openness and curiosity that would later inform her worldview as a writer and historian. Schlossberg's academic journey reflected both discipline and intellectual curiosity. She attended the Brearley School, an elite all-girls institution in New York City, before transferring to the Trinity School, from which she graduated in 2008. She went on to Yale University, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in history in 2012. At Yale, she distinguished herself not only academically but also as a journalist. She joined the Yale Herald, eventually becoming editor-in-chief, and developed a reputation for thoughtful reporting and clear, compelling prose. During her undergraduate years, Schlossberg received the Charles E. Reiskamp Travel Grant, which supported an ambitious research project examining the historical relationship between runaway slaves and Native American communities in coastal New England, particularly on Martha's Vineyard during the 19th century. This work revealed her early commitment to uncovering overlooked narratives and examining the intersections of history, justice, and community. She was also inducted into Yale's Senior Society, Mace and Chain, recognizing her leadership and scholarly contributions. After Yale, Schlossberg continued her studies at the University of Oxford, where she earned a master's degree in American history in 2014. Her time in the United Kingdom deepened her understanding of transatlantic history and sharpened her analytical voice, preparing her for a career that would blend scholarship with public communication. Rather than entering politics or diplomacy, Schlossberg turned to journalism. She began her professional career with an internship at the Vineyard Gazette in Massachusetts before becoming a municipal reporter for the Record in New Jersey. These early roles grounded her in local reporting, teaching her the importance of accuracy, accountability, and storytelling at the community level. In 2014, she joined the New York Times as a summer intern, a highly competitive program typically reserved for top emerging journalists. Her talent quickly became evident, and she was eventually hired as a reporter in the Metro section. One of her most widely read early stories involved the discovery of a dead bear cub in Central Park, a piece that years later gained renewed attention when it was revealed that a relative, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., had been responsible for placing the animal there. Schlossberg later clarified that she had no knowledge of the circumstances at the time of reporting, underscoring her commitment to journalistic integrity. Schlossberg went on to work as a science and climate reporter for the New York Times, focusing on environmental issues, sustainability, and the often invisible ways human behavior impacts the planet. Her reporting was notable for its clarity, accessibility, and refusal to sensationalize. In 2017, she left the Times to pursue broader writing projects, but her influence as an environmental journalist continued to grow. In 2019, she published her first and only book, In Consumption: The Environmental Impact You Don't Know You Have. Released by Grand Central Publishing, the book examined how everyday habits, ranging from internet use to fashion and food choices, contribute to environmental degradation. Rather than assigning blame, Schlossberg encouraged awareness and responsibility, making complex environmental science understandable to a general audience. The book was widely praised and, in 2020, received first place in the Society of Environmental Journalists' Rachel Carson Environment Book Award. Beyond her writing, Schlossberg remained connected to her family's public legacy. She frequently participated in events at the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum, including presentations of the annual Profile in Courage Award. She also accompanied her mother during diplomatic postings in Japan and Australia, observing international leadership from a thoughtful, behind-the-scenes perspective. In 2013, on the 50th anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination, she delivered remarks and took part in a wreath-laying ceremony at his memorial in Runnymede, England, a moment that symbolized her deep connection to history and remembrance. In her personal life, Schlossberg found stability and partnership with physician George Moran, whom she married on September 9, 2017, at her family's estate on Martha's Vineyard. The couple had met years earlier as undergraduates at Yale. Together, they built a quiet family life, welcoming a son in 2022 and a daughter in 2024. Tragically, shortly after the birth of her daughter, Schlossberg was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. In 2025, she revealed that the disease had developed a rare and aggressive mutation known as inversion 3, making it terminal. Despite undergoing chemotherapy, a bone marrow transplant, and an experimental CAR-T cell therapy trial, the cancer continued to progress. In a deeply personal essay, she shared that doctors had given her a prognosis of 1 year to live, a revelation marked by clarity, courage, and honesty. Tatiana Celia Kennedy Schlossberg passed away on December 30, 2025, at the age of 35. Her death was announced by her family through the John F. Kennedy Library Foundation, prompting an outpouring of tributes honoring her intellect, compassion, and moral seriousness. Regarding her finances, Schlossberg lived modestly compared to the broader Kennedy legacy. While she was a member of one of America's most prominent families, her personal net worth was derived primarily from her journalism career, book earnings, speaking engagements, and related intellectual work. At the time of her death, her estimated net worth was believed to be between $1 million and $2 million, reflecting professional success rather than inherited wealth. Tatiana Schlossberg's legacy is one of quiet impact. She demonstrated that influence does not require spectacle, that responsibility begins with awareness, and that even within a famous lineage, it is possible to live a life guided by principle, humility, and purpose. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.